Greetings all and welcome back to my shop. This is my version of a box fan air filter. Like many of the projects in my life, this is intended to be a tool that I use when I'm out on my jobs and not a work of art. For a quick overview, for those of you that aren't familiar, the box fan, common in my area, 20 inches on a side, which also happens to be a common size for these air filters. So mating the two together is not exactly an original idea. To give you an idea for my decision tree, I wanted it to be light and I wanted it to be portable. And that pretty much necessitated that the carcass be built out of 1/4 inch plywood, or in this case it's 5mm Luan, which is inexpensive and it doesn't hurt, but it's good looking. After giving it some thought, I decided I wanted mine to hold more than one air filter. There may be more than one occasion where I'd want some sort of pre-filter, maybe a charcoal filter, to be added to the traditional air filter. The structure of the unit comes from these 3 ribs. Just simple squares glued up from common 3/4 inch pine stock, reinforced at the corners. These are just butt joints. Very few screws in this entire build. It's mostly just held together with glue. I could obviously add screws in the future to stiffen it up. We'll see how it works as time goes on. I've had this for several months now and I've used it a few times and I'm really pleased with the way it works. I like the fact that it's light, easy to carry around, easy to set up. The size of these rib structures obviously dictated by the size of your fan exactly. On mine this is a snug fit. The fan is really just held in place by friction. I put a couple of cleats on the side here to hold the cord. On the bottom I have a couple simple feet. These are screwed into the ribs. These were made by PVC brick mold stock. Here's a close-up of the top because this is probably the most interesting part of the build. Again, I use a 5mm Luan, which is thin material. Because of the size of the air filter, I had to put the spacers in here with the foam tape. And they stick down a little bit and they fit into the 2 slots where the filters would go. I've got magnets up here touching screws in the frame to latch it. Here's the piano hinge. These screws going down this way are going into the rib that's right up against the box fan. And those are wood screws. On this side, because the Luan is so thin, they're machine screws that are going into blind nuts that are here put into shallow countersinks just to get them a little bit more kind of flush with the top. I found when using it that the filter diminished the airflow fairly significantly. Here's a quick shot of the fan running without the filter. And here's another shot with it running with the filter. It seems as though you have to run it about a speed higher than normal to get a similar airflow. Project only took a few days to do, many days on the calendar because I was doing other things and I was also figuring out as I went along. For material costs, I only purchased the filter and the piano hinge. The hinge cost me about $10. The fan, I think you can get them around $20. I think getting one with a switch on the top is worth going for. Filters you can get for $3 and up. This particular one that I'm using is $12, and Luan is $15 a sheet or so, but you obviously only need a fraction of it. The weather stripping can be had for about $4. So anyway, thanks for stopping by my workshop. Hopefully I've given you some insights and ideas for your own projects. If you enjoyed this, constructive feedback is always welcome. Don't hesitate to like or subscribe.